Okay, so the major is just around the corner pretty much, and I know a lot of people have been complaining about the system, the way how the previous top 8 get auto invites to the next top 8 and whatever, um, or top 16, sorry. The previous top 8 get an invite to the top 16, and the previous top 16 get an invite to the next top 24. Um, you know what I mean, like the auto invite thing. Um, so yeah, just thought I'd take a look at it. Thought I'd take a look at making a better system myself. It's coded in Python, and as is standard on my channel, I will go over that, but it won't be this video. This video is just going to be like a CS sort of talk and just talk about the system. The next one that I make will be more about the code and how the code works, teaching people like I don't know how to script websites, stuff like that, how it works. So yeah, the main problem, as you can see, is win strike. This team hasn't done anything since the last major, and they are getting a berth in the top 16 when a team like Astralis are not, despite Astralis being pretty unanimously agreed that they are the best team in the world. Um, so yeah, I thought let's try and make a better system. Now what I did was I went to Wikipedia, I went to the premier tournaments or premier events, um, and I decided to take any tournament that was above $200,000 as basically a ranking tournament. With one exception, I've taken out WESG. Now, what my system will be is it will basically be a total earnings. So what you'll do is when you win a tournament, you'll win money obviously as you do. You'll count that money in like your total, your personal earnings. Like a player will count it as his personal earnings, and then at some point just before the major, so they'll pick a date, they'll say July 1st, your roster needs to be locked in, send us what you want your roster to be, your top 5 or your 5 players. Um, and those 5 players, you'll add their prize money together, and if their prize money is in the top 8 of prize money, then they'll get invited as like the top 16 slots, whatever, like you know what I mean. They'll be the top 8 from this page here. Like these top 8 would be the top 8 prize money. Um, and if you're top 16, you would be in this set of teams. Now, one huge benefit of this is that you would no longer need the 3/5 rule um, at all. It wouldn't need to be enforced at all. There'd be no hostage taken by players or teams as has happened in the past, um, or at least very close to happening in some cases, like the Crims situation, whatnot. There's been a couple anyway, but you get my point. So you wouldn't need that anymore because all you'd do now is before the tournament, your org would say, right, these are the 5 players I want to take. They would submit that to Faceit or whoever's running the event. They'd take all the teams in that asked for an auto invite. Um, Come on, there's only going to be like what 20 teams that apply for this, 30 teams. It's not that hard to have them just say, right, well, this team earned this much and these get top 8, whatever. It's really not that difficult to do. And like I say, I've wrote a program for it that's going to do it automatically for you. Um, so yeah, and then they dish out the invites that way. You would no longer need the like top 8 at the previous major gets you whatever at the next major. Um, so yeah, it would eliminate a lot of problems, I think. Now, I arbitrarily picked 200,000 as the cutoff point. Obviously, this could be moved depending on whatever you want to do. If you want it lower or higher, if you want to include certain tournaments, you don't want to include certain ones. One I've taken out is WESG. Because it's a ridiculous amount of money, but not a lot of teams cared about it. There was a lot of the big teams missing, so I didn't really think it was fair to include this one because a lot of money went to Fnatic, who won this tournament. I can't actually show you, but yeah, Fnatic won this tournament, and I think it's kind of unfair to give them like that much of a boost in this sort of ranking system. But if this was actually released and used, you wouldn't need to discount this because teams would know ahead of time this tournament is going to count and is going to be worth a lot, and we should go and take it seriously. Um, Another benefit of this would be like third place playoff games would be worth doing because they would actually have meaning behind them. Like if the money was like a reasonable amount, that was the difference between third and fourth. So yeah, I think it's got a lot of benefits. Um, Now what we'll do now is I will show you the code for a brief second. So if we look here, This is the code. I'm not going to go through it, like I said, that'll be a different video, but we are going to run it. You can see just down here, I am not including WSG. This is the link for WSG that's saying not to include. But we are going to run it. You can see it's going to loop over each event, and you'll see some printouts down the bottom that are really messy. I didn't make these pretty. I've just like typed them up manually, because yeah, couldn't be bothered faffing around making this look nice just for the sake of this video. So this line here is the one you're interested in, line 3. This is the teams ranked. So we've got Astralis in number 1, Navi number 2, FaZe number 3. And remember, this is in terms of prize money. This is not just me saying this is number 1, number 2, number 3, whatever. We've got Fnatic number 4, Liquid, SK. And we go along, you can see there's loads of teams there now. If you just keep your eye on that third row, I will go all the way along just for the sake of, like, if you want to pause the video at some point, you can have a look through yourself. See where whatever team you care about is. It should be at the end very soon. There we go. So that's all of them. Now what I did, I've typed up a couple, well, top 16, which you'll see right here. Now let's just get rid of code in the background. We don't see that. Keep this tournament up. In fact, let's shut the top 8 up again. And what we're going to do is we're going to compare my top 16 to the top 16 of HLTV, because HLTV are the only thing really that do a ranking at the moment. Thorin stopped doing his. I know he's got something new planned. So yeah, we're just going to compare it to HLTV. So here's HLTV, and we'll just look at like what teams are invited for the major alongside. Now, number 1, I have Astralis. HLTV have Astralis, and the major does not have Astralis. They're further down. So I think my system succeeded there. I think everyone agrees there. Number 1 in the world should be getting that auto invite slot, or like current legends slot, whatever. So yeah, 1 for me, 1 for HLTV, and the major failed. As you're gonna see, like the major system is very flawed, has a lot of problems with it. I won't keep comparing the major system. Like, I'm pretty sure everyone knows that it's pretty flawed, but we will compare to HLTV and just see, like, does my system line up with it. So we've got Astralis, we've got Navi, we've got FaZe. They're all like right. Then we've got, on mine we've got Fnatic, and on HLTV we've got Liquid. Now I have Fnatic and HLTV have them 8, so that's not terrible. They would still be getting the same slot. They would still be getting like the auto invite at the top tier. No matter what ranking you went off, mine or HLTV's. But it's just like, yeah, just for the sake of being 4th or 8th. Liquid, I have 5th and they have 4th, so again, just getting the same invite, there's 1 slot apart. MIBR, we both, oh no, I have them 6th, they have them 5th. Yeah, not much in it. Mouse Sports, I have 7th, they have 6th. And then Big, I actually have 14th and they have 7th. Now I'm pretty sure this is because of Cologne. That one thing has like bumped them right up, and that's one problem in my thing. It doesn't have any sort of like recent events matter more than old events. It doesn't have any sort of decay built into it. I think that would just complicate the system too much, and I think it's probably better the way it currently is. Yeah, you would get things like this where Big should probably be top 8 and they're not, and things like that, but like it is just one tournament they've done this over, so like you can't really put too much stock in that. You can't be giving them like instant invites. They didn't win the thing, they came second, and like, I don't know, it's up for debate, but you get the point. Like, my system hasn't got it massively wrong. They are still going to get the next tier of invites, it's just not going to be the top one. And then I give mine to NRG, the 8th slot, whereas NRG on there's a 9th. So I've got 8 of the top 9 teams in my top 8, which I think is pretty good. And as you can see here, Big have actually shot up 18 places for that one event. So yeah, it's because of Cologne. So yeah, I don't think it's unreasonable to think that I got that one wrong. Now if we look at the next 8, you'll see, I'm not going to go over these one by one, we'll be here forever, but you can see I've basically got every team that is there. My top 16 matches their top 16 except for Tyloo, I believe. Who do I have instead of Tyloo? I'm not actually sure, but I have someone instead of Tyloo. Sure, someone will find it. I won't. North, Gambit, Carlos, Kids, Nip, G2, C9, Heroic? Is Heroic it? I think it might be, yeah, Heroic 23. So I have Heroic at 9th, which is quite wrong, but that is because of their early performances just after the major, I would assume. Um, and yeah, again, they're going to be like the second tier, whereas these would have them at like the third tier, I guess, even though there isn't a third tier. Like no one else gets auto invites. But yeah, one team wrong. I don't think it's terrible. So yeah, let me know what you think. I think this tournament, this system could be very useful. It could also be very useful for things like if you want to do the Swiss system, but you want to do it seeded. You could do that with my system. It gives you a full ranking. Like I say, it's automated. I've got this all wrote up. You could have some sort of thing where after every tournament it auto updates like some website like valve.com and they have like the official ranking of like these are the teams that are about to make the major, these are the ones just on the cusp of making it. It would make the last couple of tournaments really interesting before the cut-off point, where like the team that's 10th or 9th or whatever really wants to finish well because they want to break into that top 8 and get that invite to the next stage. I think it would be really interesting. It would add some really cool stuff to like the dynamics. I think the current system we have is just terrible all around. Like, it's not entertaining. It's like it comes out with terrible things like QBF getting this berth and Astralis being down here. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people agree that this system's terrible and they would like it changed. And everyone agrees that more systems are better. I just think this system is one of the best ones I could come up with, or if not, well, it's the best one I could come up with. At least the best one that is pretty simple and easy to understand. It's just total prize money winnings. And like I say, it has the nice benefits of like no longer needing the arbitrary 3 out of 5 rule, 3/5 rule, whatever people call it. Um, where like teams and players have this weird sort of relationship where like they need to retain so many, but maybe they don't want to because they fell off, but they need to keep them because they've got the slot, and then they need to overpay them because the player knows that, and it's just a nightmare. Whereas this eliminates all of that. So yeah, let me know in the comments below if you've got any like suggestions or comments or things you think that could be better. And if you are interested in seeing how the code works, stick around for the second video. That should be up, I don't know, the next couple of days. I'll put that one up. I can't believe making it yet. It'll be a little bit more detailed, but the code's a mess. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.